There he is. Geyer, thank you for being here.
This is I think it'll be too big for you.
You think so?
This is a Becky Baker.
Oh, okay.
This is the year that we dedicated our 5th.
Okay.
So let's see, can you
Absolutely.
Sure.
I'm Team Valley. I'm Team Valley.
This is a 2015 we dedicated to
Great. Appreciate it. Great. All right, we can get started here shortly.
Yes, I told them.
Are you a picture? Are we taking a picture of all of us? We're gonna come closer.
Stand up.
What? Look, everyone says.
Oh. So turn around.
We're gonna actually take. See here. Ooh. Let's see. Okay. So are we ready to go? All right. I'll call to order a joint City of Indio Council meeting with Indio Water Authority. Time is approximately 5:05 p.m. My name is Wayne McFerman. I'm the mayor of the City of Indio. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Holmes. Present. Councilmember Miller.
Present.
Councilmember Ramos Amit.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz.
Present.
And Mayor Furman.
Present. Do we have anyone for the invocation? Nope. Okay. We'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to ask everyone to please stand, and I'll ask Coach Thompson to lead us in the pledge, please.
Get your hand over your heart, take your hats off, please, as we honor America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Right. Our next item on the agenda is item number 4, City Attorney Report on closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council and Indio Water Authority been in closed session. There's no reportable action.
All righty. Thank you. The next item is item number 5, presentations. 5.1 is a proclamation of the history of the athletic program at Indio High School, and I will be handling this item. And before I move forward, I just want to share something with everyone that's here. Is I've been on this theme of races, and we're going to run these races. Now, I don't mean pulling up lane. Where's Coach Deru? I'm not pulling no hamstrings today, but we just did a groundbreaker for the expansion of College to the Desert, and I talked about races. And there's some people who are not finishing this race with us that are not here, so we're going to honor the folks who have passed or who are not okay, and who have passed and who are not present. But I apologize ahead of time. We may miss some folks, but it also gives us an opportunity to work with our new leader who's going to keep this baton rolling in this race, Principal Lawson, to work with our ASB kids and work with our Renaissance kids and our mock trial kids and some of our athletes at the Indio High School to do these periodically at our high school. And let's honor our folks and honor our history of our school. And not just Indio High School, all the schools in our valley, our elementary schools, because as we enjoy the good times that we're having now in our city, aside from the pandemic, it started in our history. It started in our history. Our good quality of life started in our history. Our folks that are here today served as community parents, served as advocates, trailblazers. So it started back then. So I want to thank everyone that's here. We have a proclamation for the Indio High School, and we also have certificates for everyone that's present. And there's certificates for folks who are not here. And I will work with Principal Lawson and maybe some of the students so we could get those to all those folks and their families to show that we appreciate what you have done for not only us that are here present, even Councilmember Amit, who's online, but a lot of our business folks who are here, they're Raja alumni. You know, a lot of our police officers, our security guards, Raja alumni, our principal, Raja alumni, our assistant principals, alumni. So Indio High School Rajas isn't just a school and a mascot. It's a culture. It's a culture. And so to be here in this capacity, to stand here in front of you with a great beard, it's an honor. It's an honor. So thank you. And I'll ask the Mayor Pro Tem to come down with me and we'll hand out some certificates, take some photos. And I just want to show my appreciation for everyone that's here. Thank you. So we got the stack there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can hold them and press them out. Yeah. So we'll.
Maybe I'll.
Can you? Yeah. All right, help get some ready. Our first certificate is Gil Marujo. Thank you. We got some cameras here. If you could pause really quick. Pause? Yeah. All right, great.
Thank you.
Paul Thompson.
Oh, sure.
So I'm going to speed it up a little bit. I'm going to do two at a time, and this one's going to be really loud. So let's go with John Rice and Dennis Chihola. Coach, good to see you. Coach, thank you. Right in the middle, sir. You two royalty members in the middle. Great, thank you. Thank you. Next two is Dave Riverness and George Caddis. See how they still make me nervous? Great. Thank you. Thank you. So we have Craig Gunther and Ed Munson. Thank you. Thank you. Next. Scott Shoemaker and Ray Rodriguez. My government teacher,
I'll open it.
There you go. There you go. All right. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Ryan DeRue and Doug Adams.
Yes.
I'd like to make it okay. All right. Thank you. Judy Gunther and Glenda Morton. Is Gagnon here? No. Okay, so we will go with Serena Strange and Henry Viveros. There's the ball.
Put the two together.
No. Connie's over here. Connie and I skipped one, so that's where Serena.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. Raymond Villalobos and Albert Moscoso.
Thank you, sir. No problem. Thank you.
John Uridia and John Leinhardt.
Yeah. Just got off work. You guys remember that, right?
Right, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to do this one by himself. Ovidio Machado.
Joining us.
We're up my stomach. George is not here. George. I don't think George is here, is he? George Thomas? Can't make it.
He's a track.
He's a practice. Oh, him and Richie are what? There's track meets, yeah. So James Goetz and Eric Jensen. Yes, I'm sorry. Sante Santel and Martin White.
Come on, little man.
All right.
How you doing?
Mayor Perfect. See you.
Thank you. Arlene Zinn and Scott McClin. McGuyan? Yeah, I'm sorry. There we go. Yes. I think we have some, well, there's some that are down here. So I know Chris Geyer's here. So come on up, Mr. Geyer. Yeah. A couple more down.
Just give me the one.
About 5 more to go. Right before Dan Miller. Right before Dan Miller. Where you at? Before Dan. There we go. You can still run longer than I can. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
I think we have everyone that's present, but I'm going to read off a few names of folks who couldn't make it. And so we'll start off with Ariel Gonzalez, Tim Robertson, Richard Holman, Francis Ferrani, Ed Rose, John Bergerstrom, Tim McElrath, Don Durcher, Robin Burkett, Paul Kamer, Dan Miller, Greg Dunn, Irma Tiger, and some folks who are not with us anymore, but I know they're here in spirit. Mike Heron, Coach Ray Adams, Paul Hendrickson, Bill Miller, Bill Schessler. Nino put ice on it, Morales. John Campbell. John Lowell. Not sure about Fernando Fergoso. Is he still with us? Soccer coach? Oh, he's passed? Okay, I did get a request for Fernando Fergoso as well. So, and I have to say the best for last, Rebecca Becky Baker. Like I said, I didn't get to everyone. But like I said, this opens opportunity for us to work with our principal, work with some of our YAC kids, our ASB kids, and let's keep this tradition rolling. Like I said, Indio High School Rogers is not a school and just a mascot. It's a culture, and it started right here. So thank you, and this is fruits of your labor right here. And so thank you.
That's the one. Also want to just say thank you to all of our coaches here. It's an honor to have you all here under one roof. And I know our community really appreciates all you do for our youth and keeping them busy in a positive way, you know, especially after school. I know I had a lot of after school sessions with Mr. Machado in the weight room and Mr. Moscoso as well. And Mr. Lienhardt was actually the one that told me about applying to Stanford University. Mr. Rivenez was the one that influenced me to be a chemist. So thank you all for the positive impact that you guys have on all of us here. And yeah, I know our community really appreciates everything that you do for our kids, and not just in athletics, but in your mentorship for them. So thank you.
Oh, also, I want to recognize Mr. Chuck Cervello, who is a past council member, mayor of the city, and Mr. Troy Strange in the back for their service to our community. Thanks all of you. All my kids are Rajas. I'm an honorary knight myself, but they're all Rajas, and what an excellent education and mentorship that you all did for them. So congratulations to all of you for your continued support of our community.
Councilmember Hamid, do you want to have any comments?
Thank you, Mayor, for allowing me an opportunity to speak. Someone who had a big influence in my future and putting me on the right path isn't with us tonight. So I would just want to give honors to Coach Adams. And I loved him to pieces then, and I still love him to pieces now. But thank you to all the athletic directors. You don't know how much of an impact you have on us children who go astray, and I will not name names.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember. And like Councilmember Miller mentioned that he's an honorary knight, but even our Shadow Hill Knights, they're Rogers as well, right? They're Rogers as well. We have Principal Farhad over there who's a Rogers. So like I said, it's a culture. It's just not a school. So I'll pass it over to Councilmember Holmes.
Okay, it was so great for me to walk into the chambers and see all of you here. Thank you. It was like old home week. This espouses what a small community is all about. And it made me feel bad that I didn't grow up here and that I've only been here 20 years, because what an amazing culture, what an amazing group of people, and the impact you've had on the lives of so many people and so many kids. It is obvious. Thank you for everything you've done for our community and in the lives and in support of all of our youth.
So I'd like to just conclude this presentation with inviting our principal, Derek Lawson, up to accept this proclamation for Indio High School. And I have some, let me see that for a second there. I'm gonna go off script here, Sabdi, I'm sorry. Furman always goes off script, but I have to share a portion of this proclamation. It says, whereas Indio High School has shown a strong sense of family, tradition, and community that is pervasive the moment you walk onto campus. Thus, many of the faculty have served as teachers and coaches. Through the decades, Indio High School coaches have also served as mentors, community mother and fathers to many students who are experiencing challenges in their home life. And whereas the years go by, several of our teachers and coaches have passed on. However, many of our alumni have returned to Indio High School to become positive role models as teachers, security guards, police resource officers, coaches, assistant principals, and principals. Today, we honor numerous Indio High School teachers and coaches for their life-changing leadership. And we also have the school song on there. And I will conclude this proclamation by saying, now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Wayman Furman, Mayor of the City of Indio, along with the Indio City Council, do hereby commemorate the legacy of Indio High School's athletic program and the history of all the teachers and coaching staff that had contributed to its success. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of Indio, City of Indio, to be affixed the 16th day of March 2022. Thank you. Coach Marullo, thank you for this. A lot of work behind the scenes. Thank him. Yeah. So I'll get back to business now. If folks like to stay, yes, sir.
Just like in the classroom, maybe.
That's right. I was gonna excuse you. Thank you. Thank you. That's funny. That's funny.
And they call exercise is good for the mind.
Oh, yeah.
He's on there.
Oh, come on, that was fun.
Wow, cleared out.
Right. So we'll move on to the next item, which is 5.2, our presentation by Arturo Alves, our Community Engagement Manager for the Aqua Arena. And as soon as we clear out a little bit, City Manager, go ahead and start.
Yes, Mr. Aviles, I know is attending via Zoom, has a brief presentation for us. So Arturo, you're ready to start?
Yes, I am. I am getting my screen ready to share.
Great, we're ready. We see it now?
All right, awesome. Are you guys ready for me to begin?
Yes, maybe a little more volume if you can speak just a little louder.
I will do that. All right, so we have a state-of-the-art facility with upscale hospitality coming to the Coachella Valley late 2022. We are on schedule to open this year. On January 26th, we announced our naming rights partner for the next 10 years. The arena is now Aqua Arena. Oakview Group is the largest developer of sports and entertainment facilities in the world. We are investing $4.5 billion on new arena developments over the next 3 years. Aqua Arena alone is costing us $400 million to bring to life. We started at 250, went up to 300 and 350. Now it is up to 400 million to open up on time. Here are some of our newest developments. Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle opened October 2021. UBS Arena in New York opened November 2021. Moody Center in Austin, Texas will open in April, and the rest are opening within the next 3 years. Our leaders are Tim Laiwiki and Irvin Asaf. Tim Laiwiki is a resident of Indian Wells. He has created many iconic music festivals and currently holds 13 championship rings from the sports teams he has partnered with. And Irving Asaf was named the most powerful person in the music industry by Billboard. They both have a home here in the Coachella Valley. Locally, as I mentioned, our ownership is the Oakview Group. We have a partnership with the Seattle Kraken up in Seattle, Washington. We also have a partnership with Live Nation, the #1 largest concert promoter in the world, and the Burger Foundation, who owns the Classic Club. We have strategically partnered with Live Nation to bring you the best entertainment in the world. Just to give you an idea of how big Live Nation is, they have 30,000 plus events in 40 countries annually. They own the list of the world's biggest artists, and there is a Live Nation concert every 18 minutes around the world. So Live Nation is a huge partner that will bring amazing events to our valley. We are building the most progressive, responsible, and sustainable venues in the world. CV Arena will utilize renewable resources to strive for carbon neutrality by 2025. The facility will be powered by solar almost 100% of the time on non-event days. And to start off, roughly 30% will be powered by solar during events. We are targeting net zero waste by measuring and reducing waste, increasing recycling and compostables. And in the future, we will expand our on-site solar to cover as much energy as we need without having to do any offsetting. A big concern for our residents is the traffic. The Classic Club infrastructure was built to handle about 50,000 people throughout a weekend. The arena will only bring about 10,000 people. On top of that, we are working on a traffic control plan, which I will bring back later when it is completed. Another great thing is that hockey games will start around 7 p.m. and concerts around 8 p.m., which is after the big traffic wave that we have. So here you can see this area here will be a huge parking lot. We will have parking for 3,000 cars. We have also partnered with Xavier High School for additional parking. And as you can see, we will have 3 large marquees right by the I-10 to promote events. This is a nice, accurate aerial rendering of how the arena is going to look. You can see the I-10 freeway going eastbound here on the right side. What many don't know is that we are going to have 2 ice sheets, one inside the arena here and an ice sheet inside this community center. This will be the community ice skating rink that will be available for our community 7 days a week. This is a rendering of how the arena is going to look when we have concerts. As you can see, we will cover the floor, right? We will cover the ice for events and provide floor level seats. We have designed our arena to create an intimate experience. 90% of the seats are in the lower level. So this is the lower bow here. So when you walk in, the level will be up here and everybody will have to walk actually through here and everybody will have to walk down. The arena was built 25 feet underground. So 90% of the seats are below. And then you can see the suites here and the VIP, that's all at the top. So essentially every seat is going to be a great seat at the arena. This is an accurate rendering of how the arena is going to look during hockey events. You can see the Firebirds there that are coming to town playing. This is an accurate rendering of the main concourse. The arena will have a modernism interior design. We tighten texture and materials. We use light colors to evoke happy, energetic, peaceful mood. We also added black, golds, and silvers to provide you with a night of elegance. This is a rendering that shows the Bunker Club and VIP areas, which will be very, very exclusive. We will provide upscale hospitality, the best in the world. As I mentioned before, the arena was designed to create an intimate experience. It's going to be about a 300,000 square foot facility. The concert capacity will be up to 11,500 and the hockey capacity will be 10,000. Right here, you see suites and premium seating, which will be at the top, right? This is the west side. The freeway will be down here. This is the east side, right? So these are all suites up here, right? And this will be like premium seating in this little U. And VIP and premium seats will have an exclusive entrance and parking lot, which will be on the west side, and they will have private entrances. They'll be able to get in and out of the building fairly quick. And then general admission will be that big parking lot that we just saw earlier. So as you can see, every seat is a good seat. Oh, I forgot to mention, so there are 20 suites, right? And then these are shared suites on the left and on the right. And then we will have a bunker VIP club down here by the stage. Music and sports will be the anchor tenants. We will bring you the best artists and sporting events in the world. We will offer over 100+ nights of events, 36 hockey games, 40 concerts, 30 other events such as boxing, basketball, UFC, Disney on Ice, WWE, and much more. Very exciting stuff coming to our valley. The arena was made for music and built with live touring in mind, state-of-the-art facility that will provide you the best experience in the world. We will host residencies, which means that we will provide you with more opportunities to see your favorite shows. I have been asked, what is a residency? It is when an artist performs more than once. It's usually weekend after weekend. For opportunities to win tickets and receive discounts and special offers, please visit aquasharearena.com, hit the subscribe button and subscribe to our brand new newsletter. Now I'm going to get into the hockey information. The arena was built for hockey. We will have 36 home games a year. Our team is the AHL, Coachella Valley Firebirds. We are the NHL, Seattle Kraken Farm team. We are the first professional team at that level in the Coachella Valley. So we're just a step below from the NHL. So they will borrow some of our players. We will borrow some of theirs when there's a need. So it's the farm team for the Seattle Kraken. The Firebird is a spiritual descendant of the Kraken. The Kraken is in the deep, dark ocean below, and the Firebird rises out of the flames to soar high above. As you can see, the colors are the exact opposite to represent fire and ice, sea and desert. So our primary color is the red alert, but we do have the ice blue in our eye, which is the Kraken's primary color, and they have the red alert in their eye. So it's pretty much to represent fire and ice, sea and desert. We are the yin and the yang. This is our secondary logo. I love this logo because it represents our beautiful valley, the one up here to the left, right? You can see the mountains up at the top. And something that's really, really cool, which some of you may already know, the palm tree has 9 fronds, and each frond represents a city in the Coachella Valley. Both logos will be included in special color variants to represent diversity. Here's a timeline. We are on schedule, as I said earlier, to open late 2022. We announced our new arena location in the spring of 2021. Groundbreaking ceremony was towards the end of June. Firebird's name and logo were revealed in the fall. We just recently revealed our naming rights partner, which is Aqua Arena. Our logo was unveiled. Firebird's jersey was revealed, and we did the topping out ceremony about a month ago. We placed our last beam of steel, and now if you go by the arena, we are completely covering everything. I'm gonna go ahead and play this very, very short video. It's just the announcement video that was created. It's a pretty cool video. Here it goes.
The Coachella Valley Arena now set to move forward. Riverside County.
The project, which is set to house the newest American League hockey team. Long-awaited arena going up where it's going to have sports, entertainment, and much more.
Could not be more proud to announce the partnership with Acrisure on the new arena. OVG and Acrisure are dedicated to using this platform to improve the lives of everybody in Coachella Valley.
Tackling climate change. The big goal here is to become completely carbon neutral for operations by 2025.
I think the community is really going to support hockey. They have a vibrant place. It's especially exciting to bring an arena there.
This is about wanting to do something spectacular. There's not going to be another one of these in our lifetime.
All right, so here are some construction pictures that were taken by a drone on February 9th. As you can see, we are moving extremely fast. And if you go by there now, you will see a lot more done already. You can also see our live construction cam at acrissurearena.com 24/7. Our Firebirds jersey was revealed on January 24th. You can now pre-order your jersey at cvfirebirds.com. You can customize them. And I'm just going to play another quick short video. This is an awesome video. I love this one. Hope you guys like it. Here it goes. All right, I'm almost done. We have been very active in the community. This is something that I'm really proud about. I am the community engagement manager, so I am also involved with the youth in our community. We've been running street hockey clinics with various youth recreation organizations in the entire Coachella Valley. Shannon Miller, our VP of Community Relations and Branding, is a Hockey Hall of Fame coach who won an Olympic gold medal. She is heading the street hockey clinics. You can see her there in the picture. And these are some of our partnerships. We have partnered with ACES, CVUSD. In this picture here, we try to take 300 kids to their first NHL game ever. We took them to a Ducks game. Unfortunately, because of COVID, about 100 of them tested positive right before the events. So we were only able to take 200, but they had a blast. It was the first time that they ever went to a hockey game, and they are very excited about playing hockey. So all 21 sites are going to be doing after school hockey at CVUSD. We also partner with the YMCA, who just started a hockey program. I believe they have an adult street hockey program as well, if you guys are interested. We partner with Desert Recreation District. We have a lot of events that are coming up that you guys can check out. Desert Sands has been doing street hockey during their PE hour. And we've also done some events with the Boys and Girls Club. We have a retail store on El Paseo across the street from the Apple Store. You can also purchase Firebirds gear online at cvfirebirds.com and give a deposit for your season tickets. I'm always asked about the cost of the season tickets. They start off at $450 for general admission, and that is for 36 games. So if you do the math, that's only about $12.50 per game, which is extremely reasonable. And then there's different packages that go all the way up to $19,000 that include every single event. So if you do the math, 19,000 divided by 100 events, it's still a very good deal. So that is my presentation. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You guys have any questions for me? I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my camera as well so you guys can see me.
All right. Thank you for that presentation. Looks exciting. I know it's going to bring a lot of opportunities aside from the entertainment. It's going to be a lot of employment opportunities too as well. So it looks like everyone's very excited about this arena coming to our valley, and it's a monumental project. So thank you for your presentation, and I'll open it up to the council for any questions or comments.
And I also wanted to share that we are hiring. There are a lot of high-paying jobs that are on the website already. So if anyone is looking for a good job, we are hiring. I mean, I'm speaking to the audience or whoever is interested, but yeah, we are looking for VPs, managers, and everything for the arena.
Great.
That's terrific. That's the best part of all of this is the different positions. Looking forward to it being open and all the events and the tourism it attracts to the greater Coachella Valley. Thank you for your presentation. It was outstanding.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your time. I see Lupe has a question. Does she have her hand up?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Arturo.
Hey,
So
Lupe.
I just went on your website and I put a deposit for club tickets, but I don't know what that means because what I really wanted was VIP, whatever.
That's what it is.
Okay. So really what my question is, I know you said that, and this really isn't within the city of Indio's purview, but you said that the traffic could be handled by the existing interchange. So you're going to primarily use Cook Street, and you said you're primarily going to use it in the evening.
Yes,
Cook Street isn't really developed for large volume in a short period of time frame. So does the stadium have any plans of working? Is it with the county or the city?
It's with the county.
With the county to make sure that that interchange can support the volume that they're going to have in a short period of time?
Yes, we are actually working on a traffic control plan, which I mentioned earlier that I would be bringing it back as soon as it is completed. But of course, there will be improvements, as we open the arena and we start getting to work.
Okay, well, I look forward to it, and I'm I signed up, so I don't know what that means, but I'm willing.
That means that you're going to receive a phone call.
Okay.
We're going to give you a presentation, and you're going to be able to choose your seat and the package that you like.
Yeah, I'm willing to be a VIP. I think this is great for the Coachella Valley.
It is. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. My partner and I already got a few tickets, so we're set up and looking forward to the games, but also the opportunity for our community to build their businesses and also get some great jobs. So great presentation, and I go by that almost every other day, and it's amazing the quickness that they're in, this precision that they're doing to build that the arena. I mean, it's really moving quickly. So look forward to the first games and look forward to all that comes with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And kids will also have great job opportunities and internships at the arena. So it's great for everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Aviles, for your presentation. I'm really excited to see the hockey games coming to our area and also the other events, the concerts and other events that we're going to see there. Also, thank you very much for bringing, the new employment jobs, as was mentioned before, to our community. And I also wanted to commend you on two other things: the community service that you're doing. I have seen it out in the public. I have seen the outreach done by Desiree as well. So we appreciate you bringing those opportunities for our kids and those, another way to keep them busy in positive ways here in our community. Also, the emphasis on sustainability is very important for us here. So thank you for leading the way in our valley on those measures as well. Thanks.
Yeah, and Oakview Group is setting the bar for new sustainable venues. So we're setting the bar very high for others that will build after us. So it's something that we're really focused on.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, City Manager. No? All right. Thank you for your presentation, sir. We're looking forward to you returning with some more good news for us.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Have a nice meeting, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So now we'll move on to item number 6 with this Youth Advisory Council.
Good afternoon, mayors. Good afternoon, city council members, and everyone attending this meeting. I am Frida Arriaga, a sophomore at Shadow Hills High School and a member of the Youth Advisory Council. I'd like to start by sharing the results from the survey responded by 92 high school and college students residing in Indio, and we have provided a copy for all the council members here. The survey asked the youth what new infrastructure or activities they would like to see in the city of Indio. The first question was, what restaurants would you like to see in the city of Indio? And the most popular responses were BJ's, Sizzler, Olive Garden, and Outback Steakhouse. The second question was, what fast food restaurants would you like to see in Indio? And the feedback was Cane's, Chick-fil-A, and more Chinese food. The third question was, what would you like to do for fun? And the most popular comments were hang out with friends, go to the park, and live music entertainment. The fourth question, what kind of activities would you like to be participating in if they were available in our community? And the responses were ice skating, roller skating, car meets, laser tag, trampoline park, dance programs like Zumba, go-karts, and arcades like Dave & Buster's. The fifth question is, what kind of activities do you think would help support local businesses in our community? And the feedback was car meets, local festivals, social media, and fundraising. The last question, do you feel events bring the community together? If so, what events would you like to see? And the most popular comments were more festivals like the Date, Tamale, and food truck festivals, concerts, parades, and sports games. Some events the Youth Advisory Council has attended was the Desert Town Hall event on February 24th in Indian Wells. We got to ask questions to the speaker, John McCain, who is a presidential historian and Pulitzer Prize-winning author, and we even received a free book. We would also like to thank the City Council for paying for our tickets to attend the Women's Club Luncheon. It was a lot of fun, and we got to see various hats the people attending were wearing. YAC also participated in the Indio's neighborhood cleanup on March 5th. Our group, as well as other volunteers that were present, cleaned San Gabriel Street. The carne asada burritos that they gave afterwards were especially delicious. However, the Teen Center would also like to make an announcement. It will be giving away prom dresses on Friday, April 1st from 2:30 to 7:30 p.m. The individuals receiving the prom dresses must be high school students. Please keep this announcement in mind for anyone or any student who may need a prom dress this spring. That is all the Youth Advisory Council has to report, and thank you for your time.
Wow, that's a great report. A round of applause for Frida.
Thank you.
Sure. So one question on the survey, are the results listed in order? From
The
highest?
results are not listed in order. It was just listed as the most popular responses,
Okay.
and we just printed out as it is.
All right, thank you. And then I had another question regarding Youth Advisory Council for City Manager. I know before I brought up the issue of voting, if they had a silent vote. And I think the response was that they do, but we just haven't been using it lately. But I wanted to make sure, like, do they have the opportunity to vote on items if they wish to vote?
Yeah, they always have the opportunity to weigh in on any item and to give us recommendation. That's the silent vote. I'm not sure they exercise it all the time, but they have, over my 20 years, exercised it several times.
Yeah. Wow.
And I know that after that discussion, they discussed it as a committee. I don't know if anyone wants to report out, or Scott or Rosalva. It's a good question. They did discuss it as a group, I know. And as Councilmember Ramos Hamid indicated, there are an opportunity for comments and recommendations, but not an actual vote. But Rosalva, if you want to echo that.
Is it on? Yes. Oh, okay. They did speak. We were discussing it after we were speaking before the meeting. And so, yeah, so this group decided that they'll voice their, I guess, their support in favor or opposition to anything on the city council agenda. But as a whole, they don't want to tackle that vote themselves. So as far as this group right now for this school year.
Well, we appreciate it. And that's what we want to do. That's our goal, is more input from our youth authority, and for them to go out in the community with their peers and gather this data. And for the folks who may not remember, there was a prior council meeting where we had a retail coach who were talking about all these great ventures and projects that they're working with our city staff. And I asked our YAC if they could come back with some data. And this is a great example of what we need. And we need that input. Like I said in the past, there are future leaders, and we're prepping them to take over for us. So I appreciate this. And I've seen the pictures from the women's club meeting. I couldn't make it, but I do have a hat. I'll wear one next time. But it looks like you all had a great time, and we appreciate everything you're all doing in the community, as well as our neighborhood cleanups. You guys all been present there, and you're setting an example and the standard for what we need in our community. So thank you. And I'll open it up to the rest of the council as well.
One more thing, the survey, it is in order. And so the mayor was next to me, the YAC mayor, my apologies. And it is in order as to the popular votes. So they're in order.
And our city managers, he has a copy. Our assistant city manager and deputy city managers have copies, and our Kevin has a copy as well. So
Perfect.
We're going to get right on it.
Thank you.
May I ask a question? I have driven through Indio.
You come up to the mic.
Yeah.
I got such a loud mouth, I didn't think I would need it. When I was subbing to work my way through San Diego State for my lifetime standard secondary teaching credential that they don't give out anymore, I was called the old drill sergeant by all of the kids whenever I would pull up to substitute for every class from kindergarten through high school, every subject except boys, PE, and welding. Languages I never had to have, or any other kind of classes I never had to have to get that lifetime standard secondary teaching credential. My question is, what kind of program is now being taught for junior high and high schoolers to learn how to become responsible, respectful, respectable, reliable adults in our community? I see them from toddlers all the way up, running through the stores and all over the bicycles and on their skateboards and having a drink and tossing it aside. And I go into the public restrooms because I'm homeless since December of 2008 because I do not speak a foreign language. I haven't been able to get a job. So I'm requesting that anyone who has connections or political power, please help me get a job. I'm tired of being homeless. My RV burnt up last January 3rd over in Yuma. And I am wanting to be able to be here in the Indio area, to be able to be closer to my grandson that's going to Riverside University. I would like to see our teenagers picking up after not just themselves, but all of these other people that are throwing the trash all over the bathroom floors and all over the yards and the streets. They need to do what we had to do during World War II. Clean up the cigarette butts. We got aluminum. And all of the paper and the classroom that had the largest amount each week got rewarded by being given a free school lunch. We need to be able to retrain and stimulate our young people instead of them sitting around with this in their hand and not watching where they're going on their skateboards. The old drill sergeant wants to have a job. I have managed all kinds of businesses, and I don't want to sound like I'm just bragging about myself, but how many men do you know who've driven a 19-geared water tanker 90 miles north of Casper, Wyoming in the middle of January out to an oil lease, or a laser-guided road grader out to a mine in the middle of Boondocks, Nevada, or a backhoe in Sacramento, or a mower, rake, and hay baler in Imperial Valley. And just for fun, ride a horse or drive a stick shift race car.
Well, that's
little old runt of the family ain't your typical little old lady. I want a job so that I can get my stuff out of storage. I have everything set up politically and businesslike so far as what is needed for being able to establish a nonprofit organization that will benefit the community as well as me.
Well,
I'd really like to have a job.
Ma'am, if I may, what we can do now is we do have city staff here, and they could get your information now, and we can start working on some of those resources to get you some assistance, because that's the goal. The overall goal of our staff and our council is to maximize the potential of all of our constituents, even our unsheltered. So that's our goal. Our goal is to work with our youth and better our youth to set them up for the future. So if you can work with our city staff as we're here now during our council meeting to get some of your information, and we will work on those resources.
Right now, I don't know where what I call my autobiography notebook that has all of my education and licensing and everything in a notebook, but I could find it tomorrow morning, and I'd be more than willing to do a job interview right now.
All right.
Well, Chief Washburn's ready to meet with you right now.
All right.
Thank
We'll
you.
appreciate you. Thank you.
I'm sorry if I offended anybody.
No, you're fine.
He's got a gun, so
You're fine. So what I'd like to do is ask Frida if you have, actually, Councilmember Miller, did you have any comments for our yak?
No, she's just an amazing young lady along with all the other ones. So we've had a great conversation, and just a great job with you and the rest of the yak, and Zalva for her work with the community.
Thank you very much.
No, just thank you again for the survey and the results, and for helping us guide our community.
Thank you. We appreciate all the work you do in our community as well.
Yeah. Councilmember Amit?
Thank you, Mayor. I think I'm the only one old enough to remember, but the city of Indio was the first city in the whole Coachella Valley to have a fast food restaurant. We were so excited when we got to Wiener Schnitzels and Jack in the Box and Carl's Jr. and then In-N-Out. And we were the first city in the Coachella Valley to have a Sizzler.
Mm-hmm.
So the youth survey came back stating that they want a sizzler. I really want to ask staff to check in with the manager. He closed during the pandemic, but maybe there's an opportunity for us to help them reopen. I would hope that we can revive that sizzler. It was here since before I was in high school. So we're talking the late 60s. I hope that that's something that we can look into.
And I think the community shares the same sentiment about Sizzlers. Everyone's worried, wondering what happened with Sizzlers. So, I mean, I think that's great. The city manager agrees. So thank you, Councilmember Amit. And thank you for Ariak for the work that you're doing. And like some of the concerns that were shared by one of our constituents, we know that's what you're doing. And we're very proud of you and looking forward to more input in our upcoming meetings. City manager, you have anything you want to? All righty. So now we'll move on to the next item. Item number 7, a report on city council external and internal boards. And I'll start with Councilmember Amit, if you have a report.
Thank you, Mayor. We did have a meeting of the Riverside County Fair and National Date Festival to report on the Thrillville event. We are still working on the responses to the RFP, but we do have a very prominent operator of fairs who has submitted an RFP that we are currently discussing the details with, and those will be forthcoming. Thank you, Mayor.
Great, some good news. Councilmember Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of my committees was active was ECAC with Mr. Ray Trejo. Ever balancing thing with IID, trying to figure out what they're going to do with power and how they're going to continue to keep the power low. Looking at different opportunities, but they're moving forward with some of them that are going to be probably beneficial and at the same time cause more cost during the peak and trying to keep that price down. So I actually voted no on it. I thought it was a little high. Ray abstained and it passed barely to be recommended to the full board. But I just didn't think that cost that they were going to share to the community was at the best of the benefits. So more to become out of that. A couple other items that were busy. Obviously, the American Advertising Awards. I went for the city. The city of Indio was honored with a silver and a gold from the Advertising Awards for our Southwest Arts Festival because of the chamber. And then our Discover Indio was the #1 magazine that got a gold medal for their advertisement and what they did with it. Hats off to the Chamber of Commerce and their group, Mr. Marley, who's continues to work on that. The Women's Club, as you said, of Indio, what an amazing group. I was an usher. I didn't get to see the actual show itself. I was hustling back and forth doing things. What a great opportunity, great group of women that are there continuing to support our community as a whole. And then lastly, Fine Food Bank, I was honored with the Hunger Award. But it really wasn't me that did anything. We continued to feed the National Guard and the staff there for 9 months with a lot of help. But the real heroes are actually the staff at Fine Food Bank, the volunteers, the board, and the California National Guard for their continued support during the pandemic. And then a lot of other individuals that actually Mario's Italian Cafe did almost 30,000 meals himself during that time. Tony Romero from the Skechers food trucks. Satcher Food Trucks. You had Nothing Bundt Cakes, Jeffrey Tropple. You had Slice Pizza Jack from Slice Pizza. You had continued support by others, the Mai Tai, David Hernandez, and that to continue to give food. So those were the individuals that actually took money out of their pocket to continue to support and make sure that those people were fed. And then they, Fine Food Bank, what an asset to our community as a whole and what they do for our community. So my hat's off to everyone there. So Mr. Mayor, that's it. And like I said, a lot of other events coming up. I think people are trying to get everything in by the end of the year. For the Rescue Mission had their 51st annual. ABC Recovery Center, Desert Art, Boys and Girls Club all gathered together. And actually the Boys and Girls Club raised $1.4 million during the gala to support the programs throughout the Coachella Valley. So great stuff.
Wow, great news. Great report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move over to Councilmember Holmes.
Well, my report's a little less eventful, but I also attended the Women's Club Luncheon, and that was an event. It was an event of a lifetime. It was so great to have the Yak girls there. It was absolutely wonderful. Great production, wonderful music, and really the benefit of all of that is to be able to raise money. That was our fundraiser to be able to provide scholarships to local students. And so very successful, very happy to be a part of that. All of my meetings were dark, but I did want to congratulate our newest Indio police officer, Stephen McClure, who was sworn in today. Very exciting. Welcome, Officer McClure. And that does it.
Great. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for joining us today for our council meeting. I first wanted to remind everyone that we'll be having a free waste collection and recycling event this Saturday at our Indio corporate yard here on Avenue 45 near Jackson Street. That's going to be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. this Saturday. You can drop off old tires, used oil and oil filters, and electronic waste for free. You can also bring paper for paper shredding, and you can bring food scraps to exchange for fresh compost. I wanted to thank our staff for the recent increase in events here in our downtown. This weekend I had the chance to attend the second Saturday's event, and I had the chance to stop by the farmers market as well. And it's good to see more families out here in this part of the city enjoying the area. I also wanted to thank COD for reaching another milestone for our Indio COD campus with the groundbreaking for the expansion of our downtown COD campus. We're excited to see the new opportunities in higher education coming for our local residents. This morning, I had a meeting with Coachella Valley Economic Partnership. They talked about the Coachella Valley Fast Pitch, which will be hosted at the Indio COD campus on April 7th. If you would like to apply, please visit cvep.com and submit your application by March 25th. CVEP also recently hosted the Space Force and Pacific Northwest Research Labs at the Palm Desert iHub to talk to local students about potential careers in cybersecurity. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Most of my boards were dark. I did have a RCTC meeting for Riverside County. It was no noticeable items that pertains to the city of Indio. However, myself and the city manager, we did have a Zoom meeting with the club, a railroad club, and there's still a lot of interest in bringing rail to the city of Indio. They're still working on the San Gorgonio Coachella Valley rail project, and so that's still in the horizons. And I did attend the College of the Desert groundbreaking here at the Indio campus this side. Very exciting stuff coming downtown. That expansion is going to bring us at least 5,000 additional students to our downtown area. And it's going to allow us to have a lot more entertainment, education, housing, and just traffic down in our downtown area. So we're working on a lot of good things, and congratulations to College of the Desert and all the folks, our city staff who worked on this project, and looking forward to opening doors. We did the groundbreaking. Now we're looking forward to opening doors here in 2024, the projected period when it's opening. I also attended the swearing-in ceremony for Officer McClure this morning, which was great. Another officer. It seems like at least once a month or every 2 months, we're at a swearing-in ceremony for a couple additional officers. The Indio Police Department is very, very actively recruiting. The chief is out now with a constituent, but he could share that we had our recruiting teams out in UNLV and Las Vegas, at Arizona State University recently. And today I was at the teen center where I actually witnessed our recruiting team doing some written testing and some physical agility testing right at our Indio Teen Center. So it's great. So the city of Indio and Indio Police Department has been able to do something that a lot of other police departments haven't been able to do, and that's hire a lot of experienced, great officers and new officers, and we also send them to the academy. So, that's a great incentive to get hired by a police department and have them pay for your academy. I did the same thing, and I tell you, that's a plus. So, congratulations to our community, not just Indio Police Department on the efforts, but congratulations to our community. And I spoke with the chief earlier. In just the last 2 years, Indio Police Department has been able to hire 40 non-sworn and sworn staff members to our police department, and we're growing every day. And we have folks in the academy right now. So that's great for our community. And once again, congratulations to our community, Chief Washburn and his staff, and looking forward to hiring some new hires soon. I also attended the neighborhood cleanup, and that was the last one of our season. Thank you to our Yak kids, our women's club for the outreach, and everyone who showed up to help us clean up some of our neighbors' properties. And thank you to Tech for the services they provide. It's great that we have the ability to do that. We're looking forward to next season so we can continue to do it. It's actually great. We don't just clean up and pick up trash. We're getting out there and we're painting fences, and we're getting some of our constituents bringing us coffee and donuts and water out there. We did have the great carne asada burritos. That's what got me there, right? So, but no, it was great. And thank you to our city manager and our staff for making this happen. Our community really, really appreciate it. I got a lot of great feedback for that. So thank you. And that will complete my report. So thank you. And I will move on to item number 8, city manager reports and information.
Thank you, Mayor. Just listening to all of these things going on, I don't believe there's another community in the Valley that has as much going on as we do. And so thank you for bringing a lot of those to our reminder. The issue of the second Saturday event, very successful this past week, and appreciate all that attended. Wait for some details for April. We do have the festivals going on, so there'll be something different for April, but every month, the residents of Indio and the whole Valley can plan on an event in downtown Indio. Again, mentioning the farmers market every Sunday at 9 a.m. She's expanding vendors and opportunities, mariachi, yoga, all kinds of opportunities there every Sunday morning. So we appreciate all of the support that can be provided. And the chief was out, but mentioning, Mayor, thank you for the fact that we have a new officer sworn in today, 3 officers, 3 cadets are in the academy, more are testing. It's a huge success, and appreciate the chief and his team for that hard effort. Also, Deputy City Manager Scott Trujillo is leading the project for the public safety campus. Wow. Yesterday, bids were received and came in lower than what we had anticipated. Wow. So that project, very critical for the efficiency and capacity, as well as the recruitment of future members of the PD team. That project is now underway. Those bids are being reviewed and will be presented to you for award here in very short order. So with that, Mayor, that is my report.
Great. And I like to piggyback off that to just remind everyone, in 30 days, our first festival, Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival. So it's festival season. So
it's back.
Yeah, it's back. So, and what I like to do now is ask the Yak, is there anything on the agenda you'd like to have some input on, or would you like to be excused?
I believe we would like to be excused because some of us do have some homework to do on extracurricular activities. If you don't mind.
You're the boss. You got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. So we will move on to item 9, which is consent calendar. If no one would like to pull anything, I would entertain a motion. 2 items.
I would like to pull 2 items, mostly just for information for the public. 9.5, the housing element annual progress report, and then 9.6, the Avenue 44 bridge project.
Okay. 9.5.
9.5.
Housing element. Kevin Snyder. Questions for staff?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if our staff could go over some of those numbers for the public to see like where we're at and where we're going, and just so we can reassure them after, new projects that we're working on as well to get those numbers better. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Councilmember, members of City Council. Kevin Snyder, your Director of Community Development. So as indicated, this is an annual progress report that we're required by the state to submit. It does require legislative review, and it is something that kind of documents, for lack of a better word, our progress in meeting our housing goals. So Juan Rodriguez, development analyst with our Housing and Neighborhood Services Program, is the lead staff person on the development of this report. And I'd like to invite him up to give you a brief overview of it. And then if there's any questions that any of the council members have, he can answer, and I will assist as needed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, council members. So let's just go over some numbers real quick. I think it'll be pretty interesting to actually compare. I'm not sure if everybody has the numbers from last year, but let's go over the numbers from this year. So real quick, we have for the completed entitlements in this past year of 2022, we had a total of 441 units that got entitled. So that's a very good number. Compared to last year, it's actually a little lower. 2020, we had a total of 521 completed entitlements. So we saw a little decrease there. But one interesting part is for the actual building permits issued, there was actually quite an increase. So this past year, 2021, we had a total of 723 building permits issued compared to 2020, which was 509. So we actually saw above 200 building permits issued this past year. And the other one is the actual certificates of occupancy. So how many of these buildings or homes got actually built? They got a certificate of occupancy. So in 2021, we actually got a total of 392. Which is a very good number compared to 2020, which was 138. So we saw almost a triple increase there of actual buildings that got their certificates of occupancy in. Aside from that too, going from last year's numbers, we actually had quite a few projects that submitted applications for future projects. So we have a total of 8 different applications that got submitted in 2021. And all these projects are for above moderate income residences. So we have no low moderate income that got submitted for development. But we did get one permit building application for one of the past projects we actually got approved, which was the Aurora Crossing project. So phase 1, they actually got their building permits, which totals to 216 affordable housing units. So that's a good number there. And we do have in the list of projects that got entitled the phase 2, which adds more to that number. So those numbers we won't see in the actual arena numbers until those projects get their certificate of occupancy. Then at that point, those will be counted as part of affordable housing that got built in the city of Indio. So those are some of the numbers. If you have any other further questions, feel free to ask any questions.
I have a question regarding the county project behind the EDD Center. Do we have any updates on that project?
Thank you, council member. So I was actually part of the scoring committee that reviewed those, and I keep checking in and I keep getting told not yet. They haven't made their decision yet. So hopefully they will make their decision soon. And that project will proceed forward working with the city through the entitlements process. There were a total of 10 applicants for the project. And there was a consensus on the party, which I unfortunately can't disclose. I signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, but hopefully that will kick off soon. And I will keep checking in. Hopefully we'll get an answer that they're moving forward. And I also would like to add just anecdotally that we have seen a huge increase in interest in multifamily development in our city. We are fielding inquiries just about every day on multifamily projects, which compared to 6 months ago was not happening. So I think that's a good sign of the market interest, our market perception, because they're seeing that there's viability in the marketplace. So hopefully that will continue. Hopefully we'll see real product coming out of the ground and hopefully be able to report in future annual progress reports, more significant multifamily development, both market and affordable.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Amit, do you have a question on this same item?
I don't have a question. I have a comment because the report was given on projects submitted, but the reality is we need to also look at projects coming online, because I'm noticing a lot of the projects that we approved pre-2008 are now coming online. And that's going to be affordable housing because it's going to be below the market rate. So I think we need to take a look at the totality, not just at the projects that are being presented, but also the projects that are being pulled for permits.
Mayor, I can respond to it's a great comment, actually, Councilmember. Thank you. So this annual progress report, it's a template we have to use by the state, promulgated by the state, and we have to use it. But I think the point that the councilmember is making is that there is significantly more going on in our community. The both previously entitled projects, there's large swaths of our community that have been previously entitled that we're starting to get renewed interest in. Honestly, we've had several projects come back to life. An example is the Spania project, which was approved many years ago in North Indio, and now Lennar Homes is building that out as an example. Another example is we're getting interest in projects such as the Citrus Ranch project, which was a huge project in Northeast Indio, and suddenly we're getting inquiries on that. So I think the council member is right on, and that's something that outside of the annual progress report, we can put together working with the city manager to provide a more comprehensive report of the status of those various projects that are some of them which are getting renewed interest.
Yeah, and I know 2 other projects that are not just renewed interest, but are actually moving forward with submitting to the city for pulling permits. So it's not just those projects.
Great, yeah. Councilmember, that's it. Okay, do you have another item on 9.6? That's a utility agreement between the City of Indio and Indio Water Authority associated with the Avenue 44 Bridge project.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if we can get an update on, well, some of the questions I've been getting recently is just an update on a timeline, and then also an update on what's that bridge going to look like for Avenue 44.
I'd be happy to jump in, and certainly Juan Rai is here, the city engineer, that can address. Maybe you want to come up. The team and our contract engineer provided a brief update. This is a project that's funded primarily through federal and state funds, and then CVAG is going to cover the other portion. But we're looking like the submittal will be in October of 2022. So from that point, Juan, maybe the question could best be answered. What would the process be after we submit in October? What would the schedule likely be?
Sure. Good evening, Juan Raya, city engineer. To, I guess, take it from there, October 22 is the day when we anticipate submitting for authorization, basically getting funding authorized to spend on the project. So shortly thereafter, we're thinking first quarter of 2023, advertise and put the project out to bid. We anticipate completion fall 2024. And the expected, I guess, would be a four-lane bridge across the storm channel.
Yeah. And then we had to add too, I mean, this project got pushed back from our storm, and we had to make the decision to repair the low bridge crossing.
Correct.
And move forward with the bridge. So this project did get pushed back. So we take that into consideration as well. So
yeah, and the timing does account for the fact that it will be a complete closure of Avenue 44 to work on that bridge.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
If there's no more concerns or comments, I will entertain a motion. Actually, I'm sorry. I do have a comment on Zoom.
Yes, Mayor, we have Agustin Arriola. If you can hear us, go ahead. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Mr. Mayor and council members, thank you for your time. My name is Agustin Arriola, and I'm the Senior Implementation Manager at Live to Rise. I just wanted to take a brief moment to applaud the adoption of a revised 6-cycle housing element update, which firmly illustrates your commitment of meeting the housing needs of your residents. But according to data from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, the city of Indio has a deficit of more than 1,600 available and affordable rental units for low-income families. The site's inventory included in Indio's revised housing element update identifies parcels that could accommodate more than 3,700 units for low-income households, which shows that the city is going above and beyond to address that deficit. With that in mind, I'm here to encourage the city to go even further by adopting a resolution that directs staff to apply for the Pro-Housing Designation Program through the California Department of Housing and Community Development. Jurisdictions that receive this designation have demonstrated that they are actively accelerating affordable housing development and are given preference when participating in some state-funded programs like the Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities, Transformative Climate Communities, and the Infill Infrastructure Grant programs. Live to Rise and CAMP partners are working with local cities and HCD to get at least 5 Coachella Valley cities that designation by the end of 2022 and the remaining cities by the end of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Mayor, I could provide some additional information if it would be helpful to the council and the community on that matter.
Great.
As the council may remember, we received a state grant for our housing element update. As the speaker indicated, we have completed that through the council process. It's now in the certification process with the state. At this time, out of 150 housing elements that have been submitted to the state, 6 have been approved. We hope to be number 7. We had one final step to do. We did it. And we are hoping that we will be notified by the end of this week that we will be certified. That's a huge undertaking, and compliments to everyone involved: council, planning commission, community, staff, and the consultant team. So that's good news, I believe. And then the other part of that is that the second part of the work under that grant is to pursue pro-housing strategies. To the gentleman's point, the goal of those pro-housing strategies is to actually receive a pro-housing designation from the state of California. Right now, there is not, I think one city has received it, if memory serves me correctly. And we hope to begin that. We are waiting to get the certification because in order to move forward, we need that certification from the state. So hopefully we'll get that. And as I've indicated to the council, we hope to be back having strategy conversations with the council in the near future around what the city of Indio wants to do in terms of being able to promote not only affordable housing, but housing in general in the city to ensure that those large numbers that we committed to in our housing element, the 7,812 housing units, of which 2,963 are affordable, that we will be able to make a substantial dent in those numbers over the next 8 years. Thank you.
Thank you for your input, Mr. Snyder. And I think that's it. Unless we have any, I'll take a motion.
Great information this evening. I'd like to make a motion to pass the consent calendar.
I'll second that. We have a motion by Councilmember Holmes and a second by Councilmember Miller. Can I have a vote, please?
Councilmember Holmes.
Aye.
Councilmember Miller.
Aye.
Councilmember Ramos Amit.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz.
Aye.
And Mayor Furman.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. We'll move on to the next item, which is item 10. It's administrative item 10.1 to review and provide further input for the development of the 2022-24 strategic plan for the city. City Manager Brian Montgomery be handling this.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a document draft that you have seen over the last several months. We've gathered input from many sectors, including staff, the public, yourself, and several meetings. The idea and concept as this thing evolved was that perhaps we could blend the effort with the upcoming budget cycle, knowing that they could be companion documents and the items that you feel are important to accomplish the goals to make Indio even better should be included in the budget. So if there are items that you want us to accomplish, we better address them in the budget cycle. This was a city council meeting where it looked like there was a window of time to perhaps talk a little further about this, refine the draft, make sure that something is not missing that you would like us to include in research, or something's on here that you just don't want us to include. Staff has behind the scenes been researching the cost of many of these items. But as an example, and just drawing attention to the various goals that have been set forth, the idea is to provide an accountability mechanism that if we want to accomplish a goal, what are the items, the action items that we need to accomplish to get done that would help us accomplish that goal? Some of them may seem a little routine and something we should be doing anyway, but at least they would be tracked. Your message to me when I was hired is get things done. And the team is ready for that. We've exhibited that already over the years, but certainly this is a document then would track that for the community and for you to see it. So I guess, Mayor, if there is just kind of an open discussion, if there's some items that would need some further explanation at this point, some subtractions, some adds, we could do that now. Or in the ensuing weeks as we prepare to present a draft budget for you for the next fiscal year. So just open it up to discussion or any comments or questions.
Great. I'll open it up to the council for any discussion.
Yeah, one thing that I did notice is on the approved CIP projects for 2022 and 2024. I know recently when we discussed the Shields Road connection, we also agreed that at the same time we would include improvements to Miles Park, which could range from skate parks and a skate park and a dog park. And
we
so
didn't agree to that. We didn't agree to that. You asked for it, but we didn't agree to that. And I think I'm looking at the wrong report because my report says public hearing to solicit input from the public and city council regarding the prep of the annual action plan as necessary to an allocation of CDBG funds.
No,
what report am I supposed to be looking at?
Oh, that's the next item.
Item 10.
Okay, so we're looking at the draft strategic plan then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, I talked to Mr. Wassel, trying to jog his memory and my memory. And as you suggested in a phone call earlier this week, we may need to just go back and listen to that. My memory is that there was a discussion right as I arrived that we needed to put some more funds into parks. There was a discussion whether Davis Field was a priority, Miles Avenue Park was a priority. So my memory is we set aside funds to be determined later where that would be spent. But we have the budget coming up. And so this would be a great time to reinvigorate that discussion. It could be included here as part of the discussion and the budget. If three of you say go build it, we'll go build it. If three of you don't, we won't.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think this is an opportunity to interject that right into the strategic plan. There's a lot of other discussions being had. We talked about some potential and some things that are coming forward. So I think this is going to shift a little bit. It's not something that's in stone. Things change, and I'm pretty sure by the time it's budget time, we'll have some more things on our plate. So, but I think it's just a great opportunity to start talking about those things. We do need to look at our Miles Park area and some of the things that the challenges that we have and things that we can do to mitigate those. And you know, observing how our world has changed. You know, big right now is pickleball, and we do have the capability of doing that at the Miles Park. And I think that's a great opportunity for the Miles Park and also the dog park. Folks are out. We just received another grant here in Old North Indio to do some beautification and the road projects. We have a lot of infrastructure projects. So, Miles Park, I think needs to be targeted. We did talk about Davis Field. I did a personal tour there myself that has some challenges. We have a lot of visitors there. We have a lot of our kids there. So, it's a great discussion that needs to be had with our potential skate park, potential dog park, and pickleball courts, so working with DRD, these are perfect opportunities to have that discussion. So
my challenge with the plan that's presented is that it is too broad, and there's no way that we could ever achieve these things in a reasonable period of time, especially since there are no dollar estimations given to any of these items. I mean, the only thing we can do is concentrate on 5 to 10 basic strategies that we're going to focus on. And under those strategies, decide what projects support those strategies. But without budgeted item amounts, I cannot approve this action plan because this is like 100-year action plan. And there's no way that we could possibly narrow this down.
The item, Mayor, is not on for approval tonight. So that kind of discussion, say relative to the Miles Avenue, if we included an item at this juncture that said evaluate potential improvements to Miles Avenue Park, that puts it on the agenda for the discussion when we do talk about money, back to her comment, to say, okay, of all the priorities you have, we evaluated it. We've got a price for a dog park, estimated cost for a dog park, estimated cost for a skate park. Is it in or is it out? Using Mark Scott, my predecessor's verbiage, is it above the line or is it below the line? So I think including it as an evaluation is certainly easy to do at this point, and it could be debated at a later date.
Well, I think you need to have consensus for that. And sure. I certainly don't support that. The South 5th District is deficient in parks and dog parks, and I would advocate for that before I would advocate for any additional improvements to the Miles Park.
So I think if there's a consensus on something like that, evaluate a dog park south of Dr. Carrion Boulevard, for example.
Well, I think, are you asking us now, I mean, to put this on the list and then we're going to come back and prioritize when we start looking at dollars.
Exactly. Right? That is the case at this point. Now, some of these things may drop off or add. If there's something you want us to evaluate, like the Miles Avenue Park elements, if a dog park in the southern part of the community, we would evaluate that and bring it forward to you. But I think I just need to state, just to clarify the intent of this plan, this is a 2-year plan. I would be surprised if these items, if there's something on here that we don't think that substantially could proceed within 2 years, it should be eliminated. But we didn't include things on here that we didn't think that could be done within that 2-year period. Now,
But you didn't take into consideration money. I mean, you could say, yeah, we could do all these things in 2 years, but is it going to cost $100 billion? Well, then that doesn't make it reasonable.
You bet. Well, and I'd be happy to present. I have an 85-page spreadsheet that reviews every one of these items, and that can be our next discussion. I think I've emailed that previously. But yes, if these are items you want us to consider and you think they would be helpful in achieving goals, we will evaluate them, present a price, and you can decide, is it above the line or below the line? And then that will finalize the plan and will drive the budget. But I think I just want to humbly propose that these are items we can accomplish. And if there's something on here that you don't think we should, or you think isn't the wise use of money, it would then drop off through our budget discussions. It just wouldn't be funded. So if it's not funded, it comes off the plan. If there's nothing on here that you want to fund that isn't on here, we add it to the plan. And then we go get it done. You'll notice to the side of each one of these action items is a checkbox. The intention is to say, did we get it done or not? So
city manager, the way that you've presented the action plan, it's very generic and global, and it benefits the 97,000 citizens of the city of Indio. So yes, I'm supportive of any project that benefits the entire city. But when you start saying, oh, I want the Miles Park to have this, then of course I'm going to start advocating, well, District 5 needs a dog park, well, District 5 needs this, and I don't think that that's a place we need to go. So I'm not supportive of us starting to earmark specific projects for districts. I think that we need to focus on items that benefit the entire community, which the way that you've presented the action plan, they do.
Yeah, I just turned to the page of community beautification, a goal to identify and implement projects that will beautify our community. 4A, establish a Keep Indio Beautiful or similar program for community beautification. We can do that if you want us to. There is a cost to it. We will identify that cost. It's probably between $20,000 and $30,000 plus some of the cleanup costs. Evaluate the feasibility of a residential facade improvement program for targeted areas. Some of that could be CBG funding. Some of that would be general fund. Create and implement a commercial beautification and facade improvement grant program. We have a draft we presented. It just needs to come to you for a final approval and funding if you want to fund that. So these are examples. These are specifics. These are doable. We could keep it very general and say, staff, here are the 5 general areas we want you to work on. But again, I thought I was the type of city manager you hired to say, get that one done, get that one done, get that one done, get the next one done.
No, I agree that we've been pretty specific, and especially on the approved CIP projects, it's literally a list of projects that we want to include or not include in our budgets. So that's why I'm proposing for the Miles Park to be included in that list of specific projects that we need to fund for these next 2 years.
And I don't support that because it needs to be a benefit to the entire community.
That's fine. So 4 other people need to decide if they're going to support it or not. And to be perfectly honest with you, as much as I love Miles Avenue Park and the need is there, I'm looking at Davis Field because I get so many people coming to me and saying there's ruts and there's this. And we talk about a community and a community of kids that needs more soccer parks. And I guess if for me, the priority is to fix Davis Field and see what kind of funding and whatever's left, then let's look at Miles Avenue Park. Miles Avenue Park is wonderful. Gosh, to make Miles Avenue Park everything it can be is absolutely a dream. But I really want to fix what we already have, which is our soccer fields. And I don't have a frame of reference for how many dollars that will take. And if it's not going to take a lot to level, that field, make it even, make it so that the kids aren't twisting their ankles, making it a true soccer park. And then based on what that cost might be, whatever is left, I can, I have no issue with putting it toward Miles Avenue Park or anywhere else. I just want to fix the existing soccer park that we have. And that would be my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I agree with you because that's a global city benefit. The soccer park, the baseball park, those are global city benefits. That's different than a regional park.
Well, I think, it's a 2-year plan. So there might be opportunity to focus in different parts of different districts. And also we're going through an audit process with DRD as well. So those are other things that we need to take into consideration. But to go back to the beginning of this is for review and input, and then we could start prioritizing some of those projects. I know down in District 5, there's a couple of parks that need some attention. Davis Field needs some attention, and also Miles Park. And when we talk about specific areas, they may not get the pickleball court and the dog park and skate park at the same time, but maybe over the next 3 years, that might be possible. So I think we'll focus on those areas and come to consensus. And I think we could do that. Councilman Miller, you have some.
Yeah, I appreciate the plan, city manager, and what you and your team have put into this. And, we're putting in what we feel is needed. And I think that's what you have to do, is because put in specific ones, then it's short-sighted on what we're really looking at. We're looking at global big picture. And I do agree with Oscar on it. And I do agree with Elaine. I think we haven't invested in our parks enough. And Davis Field should just be fixed anyways. If we have to spend $2 million, then we have to spend $2 million. Is it an investment in our community we're willing to spend? We haven't spent money on our parks in years. And I think where Oscar comes from, I agree with him. We did a piss poor job on Miles Park. We didn't put it right so we could use the soccer fields. We didn't do it. The idea was to bring people into it so that we could utilize this huge grass field, kind of like Davis Field. If we had soccer parks on Miles Avenue, we could pull some of the people off of Davis Field that's doing it. So if it's a skate park, if it's pickleball courts, if it's, whatever it is, we've got to look at it. But an investment in our community, the best thing that I can tell you about some of the places I ever tour because of my job with the senator is Temecula, Hemet, Marietta. All those things have great parks to bring in great communities because their communities are out there. So we got to look at that along with our roads and everything else. This gives us an opportunity over the next 2 or 3 years to come up with those plans. Safety, like Elaine says, is a big opportunity on Davis Field to fix it. But at the same time, if Lupe wants to do something on that property we have down across from Indian Palms, what does that community actually want? Because places like myself, where I live at Heritage Palms Country Club, we have everything. We really don't need any more facilities there. We need to put them in the middle. I'm willing to travel wherever it is to play pickleball or other stuff. And I think that giving those communities that area, the extra stuff that they need to bring their people out of their houses into the park so that people and kids are stopping inside their house and getting down in the community will be an advantage to us, because once you're out, more than likely you're going to stop and get gas, you're going to stop and get groceries, you're going to stop and get food. And at the same time, it's your park, so you'll be able to watch it, make sure it's taken care of. And I just think that we have a great opportunity. We can look at this in a month when you bring the rest of the budget, and then we can decide where we want to go with the rest of the money. We have $25 million that you told us that hasn't been utilized. What this body as a 5-member board decides to come after is what we'll do. But at the same time, I agree with Oscar that I think we need to do some more with Miles Park, and at the same time, listen to what everybody else has to say.
Yeah.
I think that's why I keep advocating and I keep asking we need to revisit the park master plan. When we purchased all of the property, which is now considered East Miles Annex, we purchased it for one specific reason, and that is for affordable housing. Now you guys are trying to tell me, oh, it's a park. Oh, we got soccer fields. Well, you know what? Those are afterthoughts. We've never agreed to that. We need to go back to the park master plan and decide globally, what are we going to do for this community? We cannot do everything at every location. We have the sports complex, which is going to be the center of all parks for our community. So we cannot have two centers by creating the sports complex and Miles. We need to make sure that the parks are distributed throughout the community. And that's why I keep saying we need to bring back the park master plan, because if you're going to change the direction of why we purchased that property, which was not purchased with park bond money, because we never intended it to be a park, then we need to fix that now and make a decision as a council.
Yeah, and I want to add that even the green space that we're talking about, those soccer fields were temporary. That wasn't something that was going to be permanent. And that's not the Miles Park. That's the Berger project property that we're looking at. So the Miles Park is actually across the street from there. So where the courts are, we have the open space, we have the CV History Museum. So that's the area I think that we're focusing on. I'll pass it over to Councilmember Holmes.
So, Mayor, if I may, what I heard is Oscar, Councilmember Ortiz say, you know, in light of the decision that we made to fix whatever, it's not Dune Palms, Shields, which I would love to get that street all the way through. I really would. And I don't remember what the dollar figure is, but Councilmember Ortiz says, well, should we take, you know, a few dollars, or did we agree on a few dollars of a budget to apply toward Miles Avenue? And what I heard is this whole global conversation about parks. So I wonder, it would help my little brain if we could say, okay, this is what it's going to cost for Shields. And then I almost want to suggest, Mayor, a separate session. I think what Councilmember Amit says is critical, because we all have a desire to serve the youth of our communities through park. Let's have a study session. Let's take that park master plan out. Let's have that discussion. Let's prioritize. Let's get those 3 votes or 4 votes or 5 votes or whatever they are, so that we can say, city manager, we are going to do Shields or we're not going to do Shields, and we're going to do this portion and this park, and we're going to fix this and in a manner that is directed and prioritized. That's kind of my 2 cents.
I think our city manager and staff could come back with this document and prioritize some of the things that we're talking about. You know, we just, Councilmember May just brought up the sports complex. There's still a lot of moving parts and a lot of discussions that need to be had. We're still working with DRD on some park improvement projects and audits. So I think this gives us an opportunity to come back. And if we need to pull out a master plan, I mean, I'm just going to be honest, how old is that master plan? Things have changed, visions have changed, directions have changed, dollars have changed. And, but this item,
the master plan's very, very old. And that's why I keep saying we need to address it.
What I'm trying to add is that this document is not final. It's just a blueprint for us to go somewhere, and we need to come to a consensus when we start looking at dollar amounts to what are we going to prioritize. And like I mentioned earlier, maybe there's an opportunity for a dog park down in District 5 and a skate park at Miles Park. You know, I was the one who brought Davis Field to our city manager, you know, but we also have to remember we have folks who live in walking distance who deserve to have improvements to the Miles Park who live down the street. So we also have to take that into consideration as well. But city manager, I hope you have enough insight and input from the council to bring us something back where we can start prioritizing some of these items in a spreadsheet with some numbers, and that'll make it better for us.
Well, I want to say that this action plan has nothing to do with parks, and it has nothing to do with Shields Road, and Shields Road has nothing to do with parks. So we need to disconnect all 3 of them. The action plan as presented.
Nothing to do with it. I agree. The
action plan as presented is a good action plan, but when somebody starts to earmark specific projects that they want in their district, then that's going to frustrate the rest of us. So we need to take this as presented, bring back the parks master plan, and make a decision on what direction we want to go from there.
We agree, Councilman. Mayor Pro Tem.
Can we agree to get numbers for those items, including Davis Field?
Yes.
And Miles Park?
The city manager has a spreadsheet he's going to bring back to us with numbers.
Well, and that's
including those items?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, that was the intent. If we just said something to the effect of that we're evaluating it, that would come back to you. So you're telling us, go research that. That's what be my request maybe as we wrap this up. If there's something you want us to research, if there's something you want to have presented in that prioritization session, you better tell us so we can do a little research.
So if somebody in District 3 or 4 or whatever council member Mayor Pro Tem Ortiz is going to ask you for bring back a number, then I want to bring back a number for the parkland that we bought with park bonds to build a park in District 5. I mean, this is unfair. This is ridiculous. We're going to go down a rabbit hole where we're never going to accomplish anything.
Well, if there is something you'd like us to research, we'd be happy to do it at some point.
With consensus as well.
Yeah, you need to get a consensus. So if he's asking for Miles Park, I vote no. So if he wants to ask for Miles Park, I'm going to ask for the parkland that was bought with park bond money on Monroe Street and 49. Miles Park East Annex was not bought with park bond money. Because it was never intended to be a park.
So let's get dollar amounts for Miles. And Miles is separate from Shields Road. That's a whole separate item. And in the meantime, we have a month before this is going to come back to us. So I think that's another opportunity for council members to go back to their constituents and see what is the priority. This is a public document. If there's.
So are you, Mayor, saying that there are consensus for Miles Park and there are not 3 for the park land that we bought with park bond on 49 and Monroe? Is that what you're saying?
For the Miles Park numbers?
I am not at the point of consensus because there is a need to have a discussion about parks, not districts, not parks in districts, parks, and the need to serve our youth in this community. So I'm not going to vote on a consensus. I think, or on Miles Avenue Park or anything else, we need to come back and have a discussion about parks overall in each of our areas.
Miles Park isn't even in my district anymore.
Right, not.
How about this as a suggestion? Why not the action item be an update to the parks master plan? Often that comes with some cost and some consultancy, but that would give you that overall view of all of these parks and an opportunity to make some of those decisions. We have a grant for for Davis Field right now, but it's not quite enough to do all that we need. So that was the discussion that we had. But a parks master plan could take a year and we could go through all of the parks and decide what needs to be done in partnership with DRD, assuming they're going to be our partner. That could be another item. But I don't know how we got tripped up on what is, in my mind, a very successful opportunity, or I'd say an opportunity for great success, and saying that these things, if we get these done, we're going to be a better community. We're willing as staff to go get them done. Yes, there might be some controversy over some of the priorities. I'll bet that's this list of probably 80 items, that might be 3 or 4 items.
Yeah.
So where we can find consensus on the 80, we're going to go do them. Where there's not a consensus, we can defer that to some larger study. We're happy to do that. So let me bring back some information at our next go around. I will email to you again the spreadsheet that has the costs included. Please review those. If you want something more that's research, you want us to research something more, please let us know. We're willing to do that. I'll do that on my own time at night. So it doesn't matter what you add, or if there's a consensus or not, at least you'll have the number. And if the number gets thrown out in the first discussion of the budget, it's gone.
So at this point, there's no consensus to add any items to your action plan and to bring forward the park master plan. That's it, which is what I always wanted to move forward with.
We haven't talked about Davis Field either. I mean, other than talk about it, and we're talking about spending more money on it. So, I mean, to research what it's going to cost, I don't think that's that big of a deal. If the city manager's willing to do it, let's put it in there and see what it costs.
So do we want to, I'm asking for consensus to include.
I have no problem with looking at that. And also I'd like to fix Davis Field like they're talking about.
Yeah,
we have a grant. What's the rest of it going to cost? 500, 600,000?
So I agree. And
then we can come back in the master plan. That's what we have DRD. We're working with them for. But in the meantime, if we have to do some stuff, this could be a 1-year thing, 2-year thing for DRD. Do we really want to hold everything up until the main time? And Loopy, with your park, I know which one you're talking about, right there off 49th and Monroe. What is it going to be? I'm more than happy to invest in it too. But what is it going to be, and who decides what it's going to be? That's a little bit bigger discussion.
I only bring it up because somebody else is trying to bring up another park that is not a park specific property.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, what I like to ask, I mean, it's in the spirit of the discussion, a consensus to add Miles Park numbers.
No.
Maybe I can jump in. Maybe it's not necessarily the word. Maybe it's the word add. Maybe it's to have the city manager research the numbers for improvements on Miles Avenue.
No. It is not allocated as a park. Monroe and 49 was purchased with park bond money. It is allocated as a park.
So let's ask for consensus.
So a consensus for Miles and Davis.
To evaluate costs at this point. It's not to agree to build it.
It could come back as $1 million. We could all say no.
And come back. We're going to come back with the plan and review that as well.
So it appears at least 3 of you would want us to at least evaluate the costs on those, and we could add the Monroe 49 properties, see what kind of ideas cost per acre to develop a park there. And we can present those, and you can decide when you fund things, yes or no, above the line or below the line.
I'm fine with yes.
And I'm a good, and on this here, this is a good plan. This is what we should really be highlighting is what you got here that we're going to try and accomplish. The rest of this we'll figure out when we could do the budget. This is a good plan. Thank you for
It's a vision. That's the submission. So we have consensus on that, City Manager.
No, I don't consent to that.
That's okay. That's
No, it's not.
process. So we will move on to item number 11, which is a public hearing item to solicit input from the public and city council regarding the preparation of the city's fiscal year 2022-2023 action plan as necessary to receive an allocation of CDBG funds. Director Snyder.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Kevin Snyder, your Director of Community Development. As the Mayor indicated, this is a public hearing item. In a moment, I'm going to ask Yunel Ramirez, Housing Management Analyst, to come up and provide you the staff report. Yunel has done a tremendous amount of work on this, working with Jesus Gomez, our Housing Programs Manager, and we wanted to give her the opportunity to present to you this evening. But before I do that, just 2 points of reference. First, at your prior council discussion on CDBG funding, we did talk about the reprogramming of CARES Act funding to support the 3 nonprofit organizations. That is not on the topic this evening. We will be bringing back a separate substantial amendment. We're required to do that by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to reprogram those funds. So if you don't hear it this evening, it's not because we're not doing it. We have to go through a formal process of public hearing notification. And so we will be working on that and bringing that back shortly. And then the other thing is just to note that the council had asked that we reach out to those nonprofit organizations to talk about future funding strategies. And we are in the process of doing that. We're going to include the city manager in those conversations. So those will be happening hopefully in the very near future. And at that time, we'll be able to report back at a future date on the outcomes of those conversations and potential opportunities to work together in the future. So just wanted to let you know both those things. And at this time, I asked Ramirez to come up and provide you the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder.
Good evening, Council. Yunel Ramirez, Management Analyst. Before you tonight is our CDBG action plan, which is our yearly funding application to HUD that needs to be submitted on a yearly basis. We estimate that we'll be receiving $875,000. This is the first of 2 public hearings that is required by HUD. The next slide is our program funding that the council discussed at the last council meeting. This reflects the new strategy that council approved to do public infrastructure and keep the majority of the money in-house. This is the funding that council discussed. Funding administration for $175,000. 2 public services are services to provide fair housing that's required by HUD and a Meals on Wheels program out of the senior center. We also have public infrastructure that we propose to complete, including ramp upgrades, street reconstruction, and other repairs in 2 neighborhoods that need infrastructure upgrades. The proposed activities will be listed on the draft annual action plan and will be available for a 30-day review period starting April 2nd on the city's website. We have not received an announcement of how much we'll be receiving, but we estimate it to be $875,000. Once we are notified of the final allocation, we'll be adjusting the funding to the activities up or down. These are the 2 neighborhoods located west of Clinton, east of John F. Kennedy, and south of Miles, where the infrastructure recommendations are. These are examples of the needs in those particular neighborhoods: asphalt and concrete work, as well as gutter repairs. Here are two other examples of an ADA ramp. We will have more opportunities for the council and the public to comment on these proposed activities in the future, such as a final opportunity on public hearing in May that would allow us to submit the application to HUD later that month as it is required. This concludes my presentation. I'm here to answer any questions.
Sounds good. All right, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. I will open it up to council for discussion, questions, and comments. I think this is something we talked about earlier, so it's pretty straightforward, and we appreciate it. And I would just add, any public infrastructure projects we do is greatly appreciated. I think our staff does an excellent job of analyzing our city and the needs. And when we have opportunity to make those repairs, we're right on it, and also the upkeep of existing infrastructure. So thank you. I'll open up to council for any comments or suggestions. Yeah.
No, just thank you for the presentation.
Kevin, if you could. So I know we're changing the plan, and also yourself, a little bit, where it's going to be a little undertaking with HUD. So when we go back and we're going to use CARE Act funding for the other three. How difficult will it be? Is this a 3-year process we're doing here this time? Is it a 5-year process? How difficult will it be? Or will we just go through the same process to change it if we decide to use 15% for whatever public agency that we use it for, our nonprofit?
So for the reprogramming of the approximately $80,000 in remaining CARES Act funding, it is a substantial amendment process. It's a public hearing similar to what we're doing this evening. It's fairly straightforward, assuming that council continues to agree with what you discussed at the prior meeting. We would submit that as the planned utilization of the funds. As the council discussed, going forward, there will be an opportunity to engage with those entities to look at potential either alternate or different approaches. And then that will come back in the next cycle. But this is kind of a straightforward action to, honestly, we have actually used all of the CARES Act funding we got except for this $80,000. So it's a great way to, we spent that in approximately 16 months. So we got the money out into the neighborhoods and into the city and to businesses, all the things you approved. So this is just a chance to help those entities as we discussed.
And then one last question. So when we go back, so next year, when we do the funding, and we decide, let's say we want to limit what we're going to do for community development improvements, and we want to go back to funding nonprofits or other agencies, we'll just have to go back through this whole process again. We're not set with those two for just this cycle, right?
Correct, council member. Please remember that for the public services, there is a cap. So 50%. We can't spend more. Exactly. So there is a cap of that, but how you spend those funds is entirely ultimately a council decision and direction.
Next year.
Thank you.
And actually, before I move forward, this is a public hearing item. So I will open up public hearing for any public comments. And I'd like to ask Ms. Sanchez, is there anything online?
No, Mayor, no comments.
No comments online?
Al, you want to speak?
Is this for this item?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Mesa has
I have a question that somebody asked me and I want to answer. Then we have a bond for streets, sidewalks, and everything for infrastructure that we paying and taxes, and we supposed to have, when we make that deal, we supposed to have all the streets fixed, all the neighborhoods. Okay, this person asked me, why are they using over $500,000 of that money fixing the streets and that when we already paying for that? We vote for that. We have a bond issue. So why are we using that money instead of using it for some other needs in the city, like the park, soccer park? There is a piece of, you know what? I go with my granddaughter the other day and it smelled I'm seriously, Miller. You can laugh, but yes, work on it. So why they asked me the question as one of the soccer mother asked me the question in the soccer game, and I said, well, I asked the question. I said, why don't you go and ask her? He said, well, I'm not able to speak in front of the people. And I said, well, I go and ask the question. I said, you got a good question that I wasn't even thinking about it. So you guys can answer that one.
Thank you for your question and comment, sir.
And I'll be happy to meet with Mr. Mesa after the meeting.
Yeah. Due to Brown Act, we can respond to any questions. Indy, do we have any other questions or comments? Public? No? Okay. Council? No? So I will close the public hearing. And if there's no other further comments, entertain a motion. If there's no motion, or is it just
There's no motion. This is
receipt?
just one of the two public hearings to allow the public to speak on this item. And I believe there's another subsequent public hearing that's forthcoming as well.
Yeah, so that's information only. So thank you for your presentation. Thank you, Mr. Snyder, as well. And the next item will be next joint council meeting with IWA meeting will be April 6, 2022. Oh, I'm sorry. Public comments not on the agenda.
Yes, we have Mr. Almesa.
The other comments, sir? Okay.
Well, I have a question and then I make a comment. When are we finishing the Indio Boulevard bridge right next to Clinton? We have a day set for when it's going to be finished.
I'll be happy to do that to you.
Okay, because we kind of lose about 75% in Burger Box, our business drop about 75%. And I figure I was going to send you guys a bill for that. And that is one thing. Don't laugh, Lupi, it's what is true. And then other thing, Lupi, I just want to answer.
She's not on right now, sir.
Oh, well, she can hear it after that. Years ago, 22 years ago, we buy the property in North Indio that we were going to make the central park for North Indio, and Lupe arguing about park right now. When that time I told them that was impossible, there wasn't the money, it was never going to happen. And especially because we didn't have the money, the availability, and we have to find some private money to do something like that and put the thing together. We still go and buy that property. The only thing that property does is dirt in there, blow dirt all over North Indio. And, and we are arguing here, Miles Park is the oldest park in Indio, and we never did much for the park. Years ago, me and Melody Fedmeyer and a few people used to take care of the roses, used to take care of most of the things in Miles Park. Like you say, it's never been much money put into the park. It's the main part of the old town, and we keep up with the PS that we're going to redo downtown. I've been hearing that since I was a little kid when everything moved out of Indio to Palm Desert. And we spent close to $3.5 million in plans to redo the downtown. And I think maybe a little bit more than that we made plans for the downtown Indio. And we're still in the same position. We haven't changed much. So, we bought the property in Monroe Avenue 49, knowing that we didn't have the money to do anything either. So, I just wanted to answer some of the things. And I love you, Lupe, but...
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Mason. Do we have any other comments?
No, Mayor.
All righty. Now we can move on to the next item, which is next council joint meeting with IWA is April 6, 2022. And so I'd like to remind our community of our farmers market that's downtown every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Next month, we do have our festivals. And if I may, in the spirit of our early agenda with some of the folks from Indio High School here, this morning I attended a homegoing ceremony for Jose Rey Estrada, who was a staff member at Indio High School. And I'd like to adjourn the meeting in his memory if there's no other comments by the council. All righty, our next council meeting is April 6, 2022. This meeting is